Good evening, the time is 7:30 on July 8th, 2025. I would like to call to order the July 8th meeting of the Norwalk Common Council. Ms. Clerk, if you will please call the roll. Oh, thank you. Pledge of allegiance. It's very important. Thank you for the reminder. Please remain standing after the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to stand in remembrance of the tragedy in Kerr County, Texas. So far, there's been over 100 young people dead and over 161 still missing. And we know of the fatalities, many of them were children. And the Guadalupe River in Kerr County, where there are many camps for young people, Christian camps and so forth. And this has got to be a devastating time for the county, for the country, for the families. And let's keep them in our hearts and our prayers as we move forward and hope that they can recover more people. I read that just yesterday that 2 young girls were rescued clinging to a tree 24 hours after the flood. So if we can please a moment of silence. May many more people be rescued, and may those who have lost their lives rest in peace. Thank you. Now, Ms. Clerk, if you will call the roll.
Mr. Burnett,
Present.
Mr. Goldstein,
Here.
Mr. Lopez,
Present.
Ms. Najolski Eichner,
Present.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Ayers, Mr. Seed,
Present.
Mr. Wiggins,
Here.
Ms. Young, Ms. Edie,
Here.
Ms. Wennerstrand,
Here.
Ms. Dunn,
Here.
Mr. Sutton,
Present.
Mr. Frere,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan,
Here.
Ms. Ayers, Ms. Young. We have 13 in attendance. We have a quorum.
Okay, good report. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is acceptance of the minutes. First, the special meeting, June 18th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Ms. Smith, any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Ms.
I saw
Dunn,
one.
And then Ms.
I'm sorry,
Weatherford.
Miss Dunn. Did we see the same
No.
one?
Oh, I had reminded them that Mr. Dwyer was the one, and it says Chris Dunn, I
Chris
think.
Dunn.
It's
I
not,
saw
it's
the
Chris
same one.
Dwyer.
Chris Dwyer.
Is there any further corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected? Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Sutton abstains. That's all I see. Next, approval of the minutes or acceptance of the minutes of the special meeting of June 24th, 2025. Mr. Burnett is making the motion. Do we have any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as submitted? Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Sutton abstains. Thank you. And now the regular meeting of June 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion? Yeah, Ms. Weatherstrand, we'll give
Thank
it.
you.
Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
Nice question about that. On the agenda, it looked like the people that weren't there were in italics and the ones that were. I actually was at the meeting. I was just on my phone. So I don't know if I was in italics because they thought I wasn't there.
So you'll be included among the attendees?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any further corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as corrected? Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Sutton abstains. Next, we have
I'm sorry,
public-
Mr. Mayor, I abstain as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jilski Eichner abstained. Thank you. Next, we have public participation. I don't know if there's anybody in the chambers that wishes to address the council. And James, do we have anybody waiting online?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
We don't have anyone.
Okay, then we will move forward to the agenda. There are no resignations and appointments. I do have a few comments I'd like to make. Today, we held a press conference with Senator Richard Blumenthal on a very, very important issue, especially considering the weather we've had over the past couple of weeks. Back in 2021, Senator Blumenthal put forth a bill that would require automakers to have an alarm and a notification system of in the car if there were young people or any people in the back of the car. As we know all too often, well, let me put it this way, 2024, there were more deaths by overheated vehicles than there has been in the past. And this is extremely, extremely important. Sometimes you read about people, unfortunately, a father is not used to driving the child to the daycare center. And he gets distracted and drives to the office and never realizes that the child is in the back seat. We've had those situations. How the loss of life is tragic, how devastating it is to the father. So this is something really important. And the reason we had the press conference today is because the automakers have not implemented the requirements of that bill as they're supposed to. And he's pushing forward to make sure that they do. And I also ask members of the public, because this is such an important issue. If you're walking through a parking lot and it's a hot day, glance into some of the vehicles, see if there's a child or a pet or an elderly person, somebody in the vehicle that can't get out on their own. And then if you see that, please dial 911. So that goes along to the if you see something, say something mindset. So thank you to Senator Blumenthal. It was a very, very important message that we were sending. So this past Saturday, we hosted our annual Independence Day fireworks celebration. It was really well attended. Special thanks to our operations department, recreation and parks, and public works. Also want to thank the police officers and the firefighters. It's a challenge when you're dealing with 10, 12,000 people in one closed area. Not only making sure that people are safe, but also getting them out in a timely fashion. And I know, people are upset sometimes when it takes them 2 hours to get out. But that's just what happens when we have that many people in a confined area. So again, thank you to the police department, fire department, recreation and parks and operations. In late June, we kicked off our summer meals program in partnership with the Norwalk Public Schools and the Norwalk Food Alliance. This program provides free, nutritious meals for breakfast and lunch to any child 18 years and under at 10 sites throughout Norwalk without question. And it runs through mid-August. We know that a lot of people in Norwalk suffer from food insecurity, and this is certainly something that we're proud of that we do. So if you want to get more information where the sites are and what the requirements are, people can visit our website and social media. If you're unable to do that, call our office. We'll let you know exactly where these sites are. Yesterday was an exciting day. We held a press conference to announce that our HVAC projects are underway in the Norwalk Public Schools. I think people on the council and others for many, many years, people have been complaining about the fact that a lot of the schools in Norwalk don't have air conditioning. And as school goes into June, and as the weather changes in late May and June, it gets hotter and hotter. We've experienced that. So thanks to the state of Connecticut, we're getting a 60% reimbursement for the HVAC program. So the state of Connecticut, this is a $36 million project. City of Norwalk will be paying 12 million, and the state will be contributing the balance of the 24 million in order to get these projects done. The schools that will be improved are Brian McMahon, Brookside Elementary, Marvin Elementary, Narragansett Elementary, Rowayton Elementary, and a Silvermine Dual Language Magnet School. So that's going to be not only for the kids, but for the teachers that have to go to school every day. So now, tomorrow, we're hosting another one of our Wednesday evening summer concert series at the beach. They're always well attended, well received. We have some wonderful entertainment there. And it starts at 7 p.m. So you can come down and enjoy free live music with the Larry Stevens Band. So looking forward to that. And this Friday, we're also kicking off our second outdoor movie series at Calf Pasture Beach. The city will be showing Inside Out 2, starting at dusk. Again, free of charge. So come on down with your family. We try to make as many family events as we possibly can. And I think that with the recreation of parks, with our economic and community development programs, I think we're getting there. We're doing a good job. That's all I have, and I will turn this over to the council president.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one announcement before moving on to the consent calendar regarding the charter revision workshops. We do have another charter revision workshop scheduled for Monday, July 14th at 7 o'clock. So the public, of course, is invited to attend. There will be public participation and plenty of discussion. We did just complete just a little while ago a public hearing. And then that will move us towards the Common Council voting for our recommendations to confer back to the Charter Revision Commission. That vote will occur on July 22nd. So just wanted to give that quick update. And now the consent calendar will be read by Council Member Nicole Eady.
Thank you, Madam President. Common Council Committees 7A, Public Safety, General and General Government. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a contract with MES for a total not to exceed $247,690 for the purchase of a new self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA, face pieces and regulators. Account number noted. A2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a contract with MES for a total not to exceed $622,650 for the purchase of new self-contained breathing apparatuses, SCBA harnesses. Account number noted. 4A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents and agreements necessary to accept grant funding under the Department of Transportation 2025 Speed and Aggressive Driving Grant, project number 0205-0706-AR. 4B, authorize the Chief of Police, James Walsh, to execute any and all documents and agreements as may be necessary to implement the Department of Transportation 2025 Speed and Aggressive Driving Grant, project number 0205-0706-AR. 7C, Land Use and Building Management. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary for the Eversource Energy easement for new electrical service to the Norwalk High School project located at 23 Calvin Murphy Drive. 2, authorize to increase the contingency allowance with Gilbane Building Company for the Norwalk High School project in an additional amount not to exceed $3,159,034, together with reprogramming of set-aside allowances in the Gilbane Building Company's GMP for bleacher, press box, and tennis courts in order to accept the bid for the demolition of the existing building. Account number noted. D, Public Works. 1, approve the proposed sanitary sewer extension at 2 Muller Avenue. Through technical analysis, it was confirmed that the city's sanitary sewer collection system and wastewater treatment plant can accommodate the additional sanitary sewer flow generated from the proposed connections. The proposed sanitary sewer extension shall be constructed in accordance with DPW and WPCA sanitary sewer permit process and sanitary sewer main extension policy adopted July 7, 2021, and be referred back to the WPCA board for final acceptance, drawing attached. D2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a Fifth Amendment to the original agreements with H.W. Lochner for design and coordination services dated September 29th, 2016, in connection with Walk Bridge Program, state project numbers 301-076, 301-088, 301-087, 102-297, and 301-0180 for a total sum not to exceed $376,974.12. Account number noted, 100% state reimbursable. D4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to award a contract agreement with Star Construction Corporation in the amount of $2,403,203.50 with a 10% contingency of $248,420.35 for project 4439 TMP 2025-2 West Rocks Road Sidewalk Project, state project numbers 102-365 and 102-374, account numbers noted. D5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to award a contract agreement with Tectonic Engineering Consultants, Geologists and Land Surveyors, DPC Incorporated, and M&J Engineering for tasks-based services related to Project 4453, TMP 2025-4, Construction Inspection and Administration. This agreement will be for a one-year period, billable on an hourly basis with an option to negotiate an extension for 2 additional terms of 1 year. Account numbers noted. D6A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a third amendment to the December 12, 2023 agreement between the city of Norwalk and M. Rondano Incorporated for purchasing project 4322 DRG 2023-3 on-call drainage at various locations for a sum not to exceed $900,306.75. Account numbers noted. D6B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract with M. Rondano Incorporated for project DRG 2023-3 on-call drainage improvements at various locations for a sum not to exceed $90,030.68. Account numbers noted, and this concludes the consent calendar. Thank you.
Ms. Edie, well done. You've heard consent calendar. All in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions?
Madam Chairman, I think I'm supposed to recuse myself on item B1.
Yes, we will get to that.
Okay.
You can
then.
vote on the consent calendar. Okay, all right. And Mr. Cedar, are you commenting on the consent calendar or voting?
I was voting, sorry.
Okay, so that passes unanimously. And I will turn it back to you.
Okay, so let me.
And Mr. Sutton needs to recuse himself.
Let me just verify, because I don't think I have the latest version of the agenda.
Oh,
There's been some changes, but I can, so what I have is on consent, off consent, A3 and D3.
where's B? Here, B, 1 and 2. B1.
B1 and 2.
They're off?
Yeah, off.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
very good. Yeah, that's all changed. And then D3 I have off. D3. And okay, so under D, that's the only one. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Mr. C.
Thank you, Mayor. We have item A3, which is to authorize the Norwalk Police Department to utilize a non-competitive procurement justification form with the Flock Safety Group for payment of hardware and software support of the ALPRs. This payment is for the first year of a 24-month agreement for services commencing August 25th, 2025 and ending August 24th, 2027. I'd like to move this item and speak to it. So the Norwalk Police Department is requesting approval of for payment for Flock Safety, which the ALPR stand for Automatic License Plate Readers systems through a non-competitive procurement process. This system we started purchasing back when the Department of Justice granted us a grant under fiscal year 2022. We since approved that back in 2024. With the funding, we purchased 6 of the ALPRs across the town, and it really helped with silver alerts and amber alerts, car burglaries and other crimes. It also helped us communicate with towns across the city. So I think this is a good idea, but I also think that we have Chief Walsh here to answer any questions and maybe talk a little bit more about it.
I don't believe the chief is here.
No.
Okay. So he's not I answer any questions or comments we have. Have Miss Joski-Eichner.
Guys,
Mayor.
Mrs. Najolski-Agner.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I don't have any questions for the chief. I just want to speak briefly to my no vote on this item. And I recognize the value of these license plate readers to a number of situations that we faced in the city. I particularly appreciate their value in the cases of amber and silver alerts. And I had a good conversation with Chief Walsh about this. I have utter confidence that our local police department, the Norwalk PD, is using these devices appropriately in compliance with, all expectations for privacy, for correct data management, et cetera. And I have voted for these devices in the past. Unfortunately, we are now facing a situation where we have a federal government that has breached data protocols that it has agreed to in other situations. We have a federal government that has imprisoned people for who are lawfully in this country for no reason other than the exercise of their First Amendment rights. And we have an administration that has taken some truly horrifying stands on its intent to jail potentially millions of other people. So for all of those reasons, I do not think it is appropriate at this time to continue to increase the number of surveillance devices located in our city that could potentially be misused by a federal administration, again, with no concern that our police department would do so. And I really applaud our police department for their continued compliance with all expectations. I applaud the state of Connecticut for their continued enforcement of the Trust Act. But nonetheless, I think we're facing a very dangerous situation that requires us to rethink the installation of these kind of devices. It is much harder to put the horse back in the barn once they have been placed than it would be to prevent them from potentially being put in place and misused in the future. So I will be a no vote on this item.
Thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Okay, all in favor of item 7A3? Opposed? Abstentions? Ms. Najolski-Eichner was opposed and all the rest were in favor.
Dewan opposed as well.
Dewan opposed too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand, Mr. Wiggins. You're opposed?
Yes.
Okay,
We have no,
against, right?
yes, we have Nora and.
Yeah, I didn't see your hand on the screen. Okay, so now we go to item 7B1, am I correct? Okay,
Yes, you got it.
Mr. Goldstein.
And 2.
You're on mute, Mr. Goldstein.
I was trying to unmute and then it prompted me, so thank you. So I'm gonna move 1 and 2 together since they're linked. If you don't mind. So B1, Oh, by the way, if there's anyone who needs to recuse themselves from this item, please do so at this time. And obviously you'll get notified when this item concludes. So assuming that has happened,
Mr. Sutton, yeah, Mr. Sutton, you should know, Mr. Sutton is recusing himself.
Yeah, please make a note of that.
and I believe Mr. Seed is also recusing himself, and yeah, I think anyone else who needs to recuse themselves, now is the time to do so. Okay. B1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents associated with the submission of the PY51 annual action plan and the 2025 through 2029 consolidated plan to HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents consistent with the approved PY51 annual action plan and 2025 through 2029 consolidated plan. I'd like to move these items and speak to them briefly. I also like, James, if you wouldn't mind, if it hasn't been done already, if you could move Stephen Ivan as a panelist. I think he's listed as an attendee right now. But while that's happening, so this is known as the CDBG, or the Community Development Block Grant process that we do on an annual basis with the redevelopment agency. I want to thank Stephen, Brian Bedoli, and the redevelopment team who, along with the work of a consultant, helped reform this process this year to make it a bit more efficient, not require there be sort of in-person presentations, and streamline a scoring system that conforms with best practices. I also want to commend the members of this council who took a look at that rubric at the end of last year and helped inform RDA how best to proceed, and that way we can make sure we can get more toward a fairer process. Obviously, there's always more work to do. There's more things we want to do in the future, and we've had discussions along those lines. However, I think we made a big step forward this year. I see Stephen's on as a panelist now, so I do want to give Stephen the opportunity to say something because he's worked very, very hard on this.
Thank you, Josh, and good evening, Mr. Mayor and the members of the council. For the newer members who might not have gone through a consolidated plan before, the consolidated plan is a 5-year plan with individual 1-year plans that everybody's seen so far as the annual action plan. The 2025 to 2029 consolidated plan includes year 1 of the action plan. They're separated into separate sections within the consolidated plan, which is a longer document. The consultants have assisted us with a lengthy public participation process that occurs separately through either public comment and stakeholder meetings, to which they kind of gather some needs and goals that will direct us over the next 5-year period, and help us kind of make some decisions on what is best to advance, fund, and otherwise. There's a whole needs assessment, a housing assessment, and a lot of other information that makes its way into this consolidated plan. In coordination with the Common Council members, we just developed a rubric for this year to make the selection process less subjective and more objective, which has led to the recommendations that you see tonight. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in relation to the con plan, the annual action plan, or otherwise, and any other questions that you might have too.
Stephen Ivan.
But he has his video.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we don't see your face and we don't see your name, so I didn't know.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm waiting to participate in one of Norwalk Park and Rec's leagues that they have here, so I excuse my appearance, please.
So do we have any further discussion or comment or questions? I see none.
Actually, I have a question. So when I look at this schedule, Stephen, it looks like the NRDA admin, that it's that there's $166,652 for administration, which is about the same amount as what we're giving for housing. Is that the consultant, or is there some kind of budget that we could see to make sure that, we're using those well within the city?
Those funds are for our office to administer the funds, from grant reporting, accomplishment data, management of the subgrantees that receive the funding. Those administrative funds are used for those purposes. The city neighborhoods funds as well, that are listed for us can also be used for housing, but they're used, reserved for city organized projects compared to subrecipients. So there are more public funds that we administer for the city as a piece of that.
So that's encompassing more than this HUD grant? Is that what you're saying? It just seems like a lot to me. I was kind of looking at maybe teasing out what's some of the areas are that we're covering as well.
The administrative funds are as they are described. They're for administrative purposes. The finance, everyone else, grant management. If we do need to use a consultant for anything, for information, preparation of documents or anything else, they can come out of that. But they're funds that the redevelopment agency use for administrative purposes to administer the grants and subgrants.
Yeah, I guess it would be nice to, it seems like a big basket full of money, that it would be nice to have a little more detail in there for next time, so.
Sure, I can.
We could
for-
give a
for the
lot
next
more
meeting, we
money
can
out
provide-
to people for housing if we were maybe looking at areas maybe that we could consolidate activities or something, with the city.
Any further comment or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of items 7B, 1 and 2 that were moved together? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Sutton can come back in.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Right here.
Okay, that brings us to Mr. Frayer on item 7D3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Approve the fee schedule for the proposed adjustments to the public works rates and fees to be set by the Department of Operations and Public Works as per the attached schedule. I'd like to move this item, and I'd also like to say a few words, and then I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Valderas. Really what this is doing is kicking off a new contract of solid waste collection with Win Waste. Under this new contract, not only do we have some spanking new trash bins that are larger than life, actually. We will get increased technology. We'll get increased information in which we can help manage our waste collection and also manage the controls that we control costs in going into the future. So there's about 3 items on that Ms. Valderas is going to talk about. One I'd like to just isolate quickly is the VMS signs. These are those automated signs that are available to various groups around the city that promote traffic detours because of public events and so forth. They'll go up to $350 or $325 for up to 5 days use. which is a great utilization. We find that it costs some money to set them up, to program them, to put them in place, and so we should be recovering some money on that. But now I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Valderas, in particularly about the new contract that's gone into effect and and some of the elements of that. So I'll turn it over to her right now. Thank you.
Valadares.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Freyer. Good evening, council members. Vanessa Valadares, Chief of Operations and Public Works. So what we have in front of you today is a new fee that will be to add additional garbage cans for eligible residents. And before I go into the fee, the breakdown, why we came up with that number, I would like just to, if you guys give me a few minutes, I would just want to tell a little bit about the program and that it start being rolled out this week as July 1st. So last year I came with Neil Jen in front of the council to give the presentation about our plan. Remember, our contract with our previous vendor expired pretty much about the same time that I became the chief. So we were able to extend for 2 years our past contract and gave us time to put a committee together and really to look at our solid waste collection system and see how we could do to make it better. One thing that I want to emphasize is that one of our biggest costs under our operation budget today on public works, and remember I hold about 47% of the city budget, it is really the solid waste. After COVID, particularly the recycle market crashed because of the recycle no buying from Asia anymore. And that gave us a shift in our cost of about $1 million. So recycle in the past used to be a revenue for us. So that's why we started collecting for free recycling citywide. And ended up that now we are still collecting recycle citywide, but now it is a big cost for us because we have nobody else to sell. And this is not a normal problem. This is really a national problem, and that everybody's trying to figure it out how we can minimize that cost. So that was also one of the reasons that we thought that was important to look at how we were doing the collection. Besides that, to be very aligned with the mayor's green initiatives, we are trying to make NOLF a very, very sustainable. And one way that we can target that is really to be minimize everything that goes on your garbage can. We have been offering a lot of programs in the past few years, and we are seeing the numbers that have been increasing a lot on the participation. So we have the mattress recycling that you can bring your mattress to certain dates to our operations center for free. We also have the textile pickup that we are pairing with one of our it's HealthSpeak, the name that you call schedule, and then you don't need to put any shoes or clothes into your garbage, goes to it. And one of the things that it was a pilot program that now it is in our operating budget starting as of July 1st is our food composting, that we have 3 drop-off sites, and we are just seeing the numbers increasing every month. Next month we're going to be able to report on the past year. So with all that, and again, should be more aligned with sustainability, we look at how we can make our program better, right? So 2 major things happen in the program. The first one is who is eligible for collection. And one way that we try to minimize the cost is that we are not making business mixed use in any condo apartments that has more than 4 units in a parcel eligible for pickup. They are considered commercial between the land use code and the planning zone. So if you're on a public road and you are residential with less than 4 units, and you are also eligible for sewer connection, you are being picked up garbage. For recycling, we go citywide still, but only also for 4 units or less residential. just to give you a little bit of numbers, you know, and these are not our final numbers because we know that our list keeps changing because it was very hard for us to really figure it out who was already in our system and not. There was no data when that initial contract was done 10, 12 years ago. So we are asking the residents to call us if they are not, if they haven't received their bins, the new bins for garbage, that is the black with the red bin, just call with the red top, call in. We're checking eligibility, and if you're eligible, we're gonna deliver that first bin that is for free. So as of now, we are serving about 34% of the city with garbage collection, garbage and recycling, then 42% just on recycle. So really the people that got affected by that is very small. That is really the business and that the condo thing. So besides that, a lot of questions that we have been receiving is, and another thing that also we did is we ended up godfathering people that was within what we used to call the 4th taxing district. We are still godfather in all those residents that if you're less than 4 units and you have been receiving collection for many years, we keep you in, so you're not going to be drop off. So how we pay for it, right? That is one of the questions. So recycle is free. We are not charging for recycle for anybody in town. So we are collecting, but we are not charging. For garbage, for those that are eligible, there is a little bit of a change on your mill rate for that fee. Just to give you an idea, based on what we look at this year, pretty much for every 100,000 asset value for the house that you see on your tax bill, you pay about $20. So if you have an average of $500,000 house, you're paying about $100 on your mill rate related to garbage for those that are eligible. This is very, very low. We are definitely, we cannot break even on that because of all the costs that we have. So with that, we limited one garbage can to every eligible resident. So I want to just stress that if you are a 3-family home, you got 3 garbage cans. So it's 1 per residential unit. So now and that's how we roll out. We're still trying to finalize the list. We know that there is some errors and we're going to get to it in the next few weeks for sure. So now what we are proposing is that people that after using this for a couple of weeks and they feel that they still need another garbage bin, they will be allowed to purchase one. And that's the fee that we're proposing here. And the cost of that new garbage can will be $300. So, and it's a one-time fee. I know that the number when we hear about it, it seems as a high number as 300, but actually it barely covers the cost of everything. So I'm just gonna give an example about the numbers that we have. The bin itself costs us $82. So, and then if you, based on our calculation, the average weight that for hauling on a year on a family, it is a little less than a ton that usually it is collected. We are paying, that is the other fee that we are proposing that we need to adjust, is about $108 on this year. So if this cost will cover the hauling fee for about 2 years, plus the bin, plus the delivery. So there is a lot of administration that we need to do to make sure that you're going to receive the bin. So as soon as you're going to call, customer service will get your call. We're going to get in our city work system. Staff are going to confirm that you're eligible. As soon as you're eligible, someone will reach out to the resident, sending them a link for payment, or they can mail us the check. After that payment is processed, we're going to put on the list for delivery. now I need to assign every single bin to an address, because this is also key of this program. Every bin that has been delivered in this city, that is about 18,040 bins, all of them has individual barcode. It is assigned to a certain address. We're using automated trucks in this new collection system. As soon as that truck is able to pick up that bin, he'll be able to see if that bin is really on that address. So as I said, we are really, I know it is, the whole transition is not easy, but I think that you guys have approved a very good plan that we're going to be able to do a lot of improvements in the future. So why 2 years of hauling is a lot of the questions that also you may be asking. If you remember on this master plan that we drafted in 2027, I'm going to come back, hopefully I'll come back to the council. You guys have the option to extend the garbage collection citywide. And at the same time, we can consider if we're going to break the garbage fee as a user fee. So instead of being on your meal rate, it will be separate. There is a lot, why we didn't do it now is that really we cannot do it. We don't have the manpower to do that, but we need this extra time to be able to do that. So by then, if it is a user fee, we'll be able to readdress if people has more bins, if they have more garbage, if they want maybe a smaller bin that we may consider a bigger bin. And that one, I think that we can rethink about how we can continue this same program after 2027. So that's why the $300, again, we are not making any money on this. We are actually still there is a cost on the city side, but this is a way to be very fiscal responsible to all the other residents. I know the mayor turns to me every October and said, Vanessa, I need a flat budget, right, Mayor? And that's what we are trying to do. We're really trying to minimize. We are trying to find a way on how to minimize the cost of our most expensive operating cost. I think this is all that I have related to the garbage. One thing that also I would like to report, we've been in meetings, like I know with Win Waste, that is our vendor. On Monday, we started last week. We know that it's not 100%. We are still forgiving some people. We start tagging them so they understand that collection may stop. They cannot overflow the bin. But the numbers that I heard on Monday was very positive. So we have in some of the routes, we have different routes every day. It's about, in the good ones, we have about 90% with everybody following whatever is the plan. And in our worst route, we have about 70%. So I think that overall we're doing good. This was our first week. It is a tough week to also roll out the program because we have the big holiday. There is a lot of gatherings. There is a lot of garbage, but we are seeing that we know that is gonna improve. So this is all that I have related to the garbage fee. The other one, as I mentioned, is just the dump fee that we increase that every year or every 2 years is based on our contract fee. And the other one, Mr. Freire explained very well, is related to our VMS signs. What happened is that on a lot of the events that happen in the city that are not city sponsor events, we are always requested to drop a VM sign, either to explain about the event or the tour or say parking lot is full and all that. That takes us one driver, one foreman, the truck to get there and program and then bring it back. So we're asking now that whoever holds that event, if they are required to put one in, they will be charged $350 a day. And we're only gonna let the VM signs out for 5 days. So I believe that's all that I have, and I'm open for any questions.
Any comments or questions? Ms. Dunn?
I just have a comment. I probably, like all of us, got a lot of phone calls from our constituents. And Vanessa, I really, really want to say thank you. One of the big ones with us was the condo association that was actually standalone houses. And when I called them to tell them that there was a pathway They said, oh, we already got a letter. So you were on it so quickly. I appreciate it so much. You made me look good, but it's really you.
Thank you.
Further discussion, comment? Ms. Smith?
Yeah, thank you so much, Vanessa. You know, this has really been a big undertaking and we all have gotten some phone calls about it. So, you know, you've handled it really, really well. And I'm really pleased that you're able to be here tonight at the council meeting to explain everything. So, you know, more transparency for the public so that, you know, they can get the information. And, you know, citywide garbage pickup has been a thing of mine almost the whole time I've been on the council. So it's, you know, we're getting there and I'm really thrilled about that. One question I have for you, because you did talk about this in the Public Works meeting, is the approximate date that you believe that the bins will be available for purchase for the people who need an additional bin.
So approving this tonight, the goal is that we're gonna have it, customer service receiving the calls Monday. There is also the app of Click that we're gonna put it out. I know that some people will start calling tomorrow. We're not gonna deny, we're gonna put in the system. It will, but it does take a little bit of time until they get the bins. But as soon as they paid, we know that that person we're gonna pick up even from a different bin until we are able to deliver that one. As of now, I'm hoping that I'll have the delivery by the 3rd week of August. Remember, we need to have a good count. We already put an order for the bins. We're guessing more or less how many we're gonna need. It has to be bring here, and then I need a 3rd company just to delivery. But again, it's not just load a truck and just drop any bins everywhere. There is specific bins to each address.
And I just want to clarify, just make sure it's really clear what you just said, is that for the people who need that second one, they're still going to have pickup until
Correct.
they're able to purchase the second one
After they
on
pay,
their old bins,
after they pay.
after they pay. Got it. Okay. Thank
Because
you.
then otherwise, then we know, okay, it's just that it's on our end. They already did everything. So we're gonna pick up from a second bin, not loose bags. Loose bags
Right,
is
of
not
course.
allowed.
Uh-huh.
I want to remind this to everybody because some people keep putting bags on the floor. We will not gonna pick, we stopped picking up since last year, was already part of the ordinance. We are enforcing. So because we were seeing that as an issue, particularly in some specific neighborhoods. So that we're not gonna pick up. But if you have called, if you're eligible, because one thing that we want to make sure is that it's not because you don't have a bin that you live in a different district, you can call that you're gonna get a bin. We are just selling extra bins for eligible residents. So as soon as we can confirm, we send the link for payment. That payment is made. It will be in our system and will be dispatched to our vendor that house will have 2 bins to be picked up.
Yeah, and thank you, because I think, you know, that those several weeks until, you know, someone who needs the 2 bins can actually get them. Some of the complaints that I heard was, I'm not putting garbage in my car and taking it to the dump. So, you know, that you're still able to pick up for those people, I think is really huge. So thank you for that.
So also, I want to remind everyone that the transfer station is open. Every resident in Norwalk can dump up to 1 ton free. So even for those that now do not qualify for collection, they still can bring the garbage to the transfer station and they are not going to be charged.
Mr. C.
Yeah, I just had a comment, and I appreciate all of the work that you and the committee put into this. I just kind of wanted to, the residents, they don't understand this, and they're busy, so they don't have the time to really look into all of the whys of why this is happening, and how we got here. All they really see and feel is that the taxes are going up and they're losing services, or they have to pay for more services. And that's not a knock against the city or this department, but it's just how the residents feel, because they're losing services. And I just wanted to speak to that, because that's what they see. We're involved. We know why this stuff is happening. It makes sense to us and it works. But I just wanted to just kind of bring that to people of how they feeling, because all of the phone calls and emails that we got, it's just out of frustration because they're just being hit from every angle. And so are we as a city, because our cost keeps going up in different places. So I just really wanted to just make that comment, just that we hear it and we see it, and we're residents too that feel the effects of these things is happening. So I just kind of wanted to bring that point that, like, we know why, and people they probably aren't gonna not understand, but they're probably not gonna know why these things are happening. They're just gonna feel that they're losing services, or they're gonna have to pay for more services, but their taxes are going up, and that's just a tough situation that we're in right now.
So, Mr. C, thank you for your comment. I just want to also make sure that they understand that everyone that is not eligible, they are not being charged for garbage collection. So that is something very important. We make sure that we pass that to the tax assessor, and that is not being included. So even if in the past, there was a condo that was being charged for garbage collection, as of July, as of this new list, it's not.
Further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Seed abstains. And I believe everybody else voted in favor.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Shanahan,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? We are adjourned at 8:27. Thank you, council members, for your time and
No,
energy.
yeah.